Hello. Good evening to all. Students, now from today we are having some DLED syllabus YouTube videos, and today I am dealing with the subject S4, that is Proficiency in English Language Part 2. So in this subject we have two chapters there. So first chapter is related about the reading skill, that is proficiency in reading skill, and second chapter is related about proficiency in writing skill, and both chapter carries 10 marks. It means that in final exam there will be 20 marks, and out of 20 marks one should get at least 10 marks to get pass in this subject. So to pass this subject, it's a really simplest thing, because whatever I am going to tell you now and henceforth, everything will be very important for exams point of view. And I assure you that if you go through all these videos, note down all these points, watch this video once, twice, thrice, unless and until you understand it, and definitely I think that it will help you to get more marks in coming exam. So let's start with this first unit. I would like to tell you one more thing here, that I have been studying all the question papers from 2017, and I am finding some questions which are mainly asked in each and every question paper. And I have been doing this job from last 2 years, and I hope that most of students are going to study about all these videos, and definitely it will help them, or it will help you to get more marks in this exam. So let's see which question is there now. Now I have thought today about this question. There are two questions. Which points will you consider while developing reading with fluency? Which points will you consider while developing reading with fluency? And the second question, I may say second question, how will you develop reading fluency of your students? So both question carries the same answer, but only the questions are molded in a different way so that you will get confused. So don't worry about this. I am going to solve all these problems. And now think about this question. What is the question? Which point will you consider while developing reading with fluency? This word is very important here. Reading with fluency. This question is very important here. And in the second question, how will you develop reading fluency of your students? In both questions, the same word is there, reading with fluency, reading fluency, and both questions have the same meaning. So let's see, and I am going to assure you that definitely this question will occur in coming exam, which will help in coming very soon. Okay, so let's see how you can improve the fluency of your students. These are some points. I have written near about 8 points, and 8 points suggest that you can develop the fluency of your students. So the first point, it's related about the fluency. So I want to get into about what is fluency there. You know that fluency, the word is totally related about somewhat extent, mostly in speaking. When I start speaking something, it means that there should not be any disturbance. I should not stop anywhere. Yes, definitely I should have to follow the punctuation marks. I should not think a little bit and then trying to say something. It won't happen in case of fluency. Fluency means when you start, you go on up to the end. So here, how you can develop reading fluency? Reading fluency means when your student or when you are reading any passage or any article or any lesson, you start from the first line and you end up to the last line. You should not think how should I pronounce the word and what should be utterance. You should have to make the proper sound there. So it's related about the fluency. Okay, the first point, that how you can develop reading fluency of your students. First thing, that you always should think about the fluency and fluency in reading skill. Second point, there should be a voice modulation. Try to understand this concept. Voice modulation means change the quality of your voice, higher, lower or softer. When you read, when you start reading, sometimes you have to read or you have to use your voice sometimes higher, sometimes in lower and sometimes in softer. So using higher, lower and softer, it means that you are molding your voice. So voice modulation is very important here. And what is voice modulation? Change in the quality of your voice. Sometimes your voice should be louder, sometimes your voice should be lower and sometimes your voice should be very soft. And when you do like this, it means that you are getting fluency in reading skill. Next one, it's about pitch. So pitch is a very simple concept. It's really very close to this voice modulation also. Your pitch should be sometimes high, flat or low in pitch. Next point we are discussing, in that point we will see details about what is the pitch. So when you start reading, sorry, sometimes your voice should be high, just like voice modulation. Sometimes it should be flat. Flat, it means that in a one level, and sometimes it should be very low pitch. So this is the third point. Next one, fourth point, which is very important, guys. It's about intonations. Even I can say that sometimes the question will be a separate based on intonation. We will think later on what is intonation. Okay. So what is intonation? You know that we have in our DLED subject, we have two types of intonations there. The first one is falling intonation and second one is rising intonation. And what is intonation actually? The fall and rise in the pitch is called intonation. When you read anything, sometimes your voice goes up, that is called the rising intonation, and sometimes your voice becomes very low while reading the sentence. It's related about the falling intonation. So when somebody reads with having a proper intonation on the sentence, it definitely make your speech, make your reading with fluency. And you should have to ask your student that they should read with having the falling intonation and with rising intonation. Next one, point number 5. How you can develop fluency, reading fluency with your students? With expressions. So you know that when this is really a good thing. It means that when I am reading something, reading should be supported with facial expressions. Reading should be supported with body actions, some gestures. And when you read with all these things, with body actions, with facial expressions, having some gestures, definitely your reading become very close to fluency. It means that when you are reading something, it means that you have to understand what is the context, what is the meaning there, hidden meaning, and according to the meaning you have to express yourself. Expression should be on your body, expression should be on your face, and you should have the good gestures there. Definitely all these things make your reading with fluency. So when you are telling your students to read these sentences, they should read the sentences with having some facial expressions, some body expressions and some gestures. So it is said here that to express feeling, ideas and thoughts, one use facial expressions, movement and gestures, as I told you just now, because these are very important things. When you are reading, you are showing some gestures, you are expressing your thoughts, ideas, feelings, and those thoughts should be supported with body actions, facial expressions and gestures. So that is more important thing. Now point number 6, meaningful chunks. Yes, this is a little bit difficult concept, try to understand. Guys, suppose one passage is given or one lesson is given to you and you are asked to read that particular lesson. What one should supposed to do is enhance one's fluency in reading by meaningful passages. When you are reading sentences and when somebody is listening to you, listener should understand what you mean to say. This is important thing, no doubt. But apart from that, if I am reading a passage, if I am reading a lesson, I should understand what is hidden meaning in that. So it is enhancing your skill, one's fluency. So when I can say that you are a good speaker or you are a good reader, unless and until you have a meaningful chunks, that your facial expression should show that this is the context, this is the meaning hidden in those sentences. So this is the 6th point. Now we will have some next point. It's related about the pauses. How one should use the pauses while reading. You might have learned many things from your teachers, that using the proper pauses and proper punctuations in the mark, it gives the proper meaning. Proper pauses convey the proper meaning. Wrong pauses convey wrong meaning. So what one should think? Pauses means to stop or to take a small break before continuing. Proper pauses create proper meaning, or I can say that improper pauses create improper meaning. So think about that one also. Your pauses should be right. Suppose I am giving you one example, try to understand. I am writing the example here. For example, he said, shall I help you? So this is the sentence. How proper pauses are important. When I am reading the sentence, I should think about the pauses. So I should read the sentence like this. He said, shall I help you? So what I used to do here, or what kind of pauses I have taken? I have taken the pauses here because this is more important thing. It's a direct and indirect speech. So while reading that sentence, listener should understand, yes, this is the pause and it shows the question. He said, shall I help you? So this will create a proper meaning. It will give you the proper meaning. So think about that one also. Okay. So I have written one sentence here. Ramesh, give me your pen. This is a statement. Ramesh, give me your pen. This is a simple statement. If I use the proper pauses and if I use incorrect pauses, definitely its meaning changes here. Suppose if I read the sentence like this, Ramesh, give me your pen. Ramesh, give me your pen. It become a question then. So, if the sentence is statement and if you have incorrect pauses, meaning is changed there. So, you have to think about what kind of pauses shall I take and whether that pauses really convey the proper meaning or not. So guys, this is very important thing in your daily life also. Pauses really matters a lot and one should have to think about all these things. Okay. The last point is related about stress. I think that I have made some videos based on stress. You may follow that link also and you get to know what are the types of stresses there. You know that we have two types of stresses. The first stress, that is the word stress, and the second type is sentence stress. Okay. So what is written here? Just try to think about that one. What is actually the stress? Stress means a degree of force applies on a word or syllable while uttering that particular word. So when you are going to utter something, when you are going to utter any word, you have to think about the stress. For example, I have written one sentence here. How stress is very important there. Okay. So when you think about the stress, think about the first sentence. There are two types of stresses, word stress and sentence stress. The first sentence, it's about a sentence stress. Okay. And the sentence is, it's an interrogative question, interrogative sentence, sorry. And the sentence is, simple question is that, what are you doing? What are you doing? Where I have kept the stress is given on the WH word, and this is the rule of English language. We are putting the stress on WH word, so that word should have a louder. And when you are going to end this question, there should be a fall. There should be a fall. So when I want to read this sentence, I should use this sentence, I should read this sentence. What are you doing? What are you doing? So stresses are given on word. And remember one thing, that there might be a separate question based on what are the types of stresses, explain with examples. So think that there are two types of stresses. The first one is word stress, where words are very important, and apart from that, syllables are very important when there is word stress. Okay. Think about this. I have written the example here. This is word stress. Word stress. Okay. For example, the word like object. The word plays its role as a noun. So stress is given on the first syllable. The word object has two syllables. Object. This is first and this is second. The same thing happen in case of another. One, zect, second syllable. As I told you that when words are playing a different role in a sentence, stress pattern changes. The word like object, it plays role as in noun. When it plays its role as in noun, the first syllable is always stressed there. So how should I read that word? Object, object. So stress is given on ob, first syllable. When the same word is playing its role as in verb, stress changes from first syllable to second syllable. For example, object, 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 object. So the second syllable is stressed there and the trace is given on the second syllable. We can take one more example, just as in water. When water plays its role as in noun, the first word syllable is stressed. Wa and to. First syllable, second syllable. Wa, first syllable, and ter, second syllable. It's the word water plays both role. Sometimes it plays role as in noun and sometimes it plays role as in verb. So, how should I pronounce the word? Water, water, wa is stressed there, and when the same word plays its role as in verb, I can say water, water. So ta is stressed there. Second syllable is stressed. We have many examples there. So important thing is now, when you want to develop reading fluency of your students, you have to do all these activities in the class. And if someone is following, someone is going through all these points and apply all these points while reading something, definitely, automatically reading fluency will be there. And guys, I am telling one more thing, very important thing. Do this question from now. Write down all these points once, twice, thrice, and I am sure that the question will be in the exam, coming exam, for either for 3 marks or for 4 marks. Because in last 2 years, we don't have the question based on reading in fluency. Definitely this year there will be the question, and put into, note down this, mark it as in VRMP, very important question. Hope you understand all these things and how you can create fluency in reading. Just first thing that you should have to become a fluent reader of English language. You should have all these categories with you. When you are reading, think about all these points, definitely your fluency will be increased, and then it will definitely help you to make your students reading fluency. So the point comes to you, and I hope you understand all these things. As usually, really, if you like this video, definitely share to your friends, relatives, and ask them to subscribe the channel. I hope everyone understand it. Apart from that, if you have any doubt, I'm writing my phone number here. You can always ask me. 98233 74184. This is my phone number. Anytime you can call me. I am ready to answer you. So thank you once again watching this video, and don't forget to share it and subscribe it. Thank you. Thank you.